So today I want to give you a little bit of a riddle. Actually, I'm going to tell you a story first, which is going to lead into this riddle, which is going to lead into a lesson here, all in this one nice little video. So some years ago when I lived in Pennsylvania, I went to this restaurant one night with my wife at the time, and there was a guitarist there. He was playing like jazz standards with a backing track. It wasn't anything too fancy, but I liked it. I liked what he was doing, and I'm always up for learning from whoever. So I said, hey man, can I get a card? Can I get a lesson from you sometime? Went over to his place the next week, and so he said, play me something. And I don't know, I don't even remember what I think I might have played some like chord melody, Autumn Leaves or something. Just real basic stuff. Anyway, so he said, that's good. And then, you know, I kind of forget what we talked about, but I'll never forget the one thing he said. He said, there's only 2 chords. And I said, what do you mean? He said, there's only 2 chords. And so I didn't press him on it. I think today I might have been a little bit more inquisitive and, you know, really try to nail that down. So, but that's kind of stuck in the back of my head. Never really knew what he was talking about. Until the other day, I was kind of working on some stuff. And it kind of hit me like, oh, there's only 2 chords. So now I'm not talking about, you know, like for example, when Joe Pass talks about how he breaks down like a song, he thinks of either major, minor, or dominant and simplifies chords. So I'm talking about something different. That would be 3 chords anyway. There's only 2 chords. So if you want to pause the video and just ponder that riddle, I'll let you go ahead and pause the video now, and then now I guess I will keep going here and explain what I mean. So, all right, so I was, you know, looking at my harmonized scales, and I think this is something every blues guitarist should do. Really, every guitarist, you know, you should be able to master harmonizing a scale. I like to work off the Mixolydian scale as just a starting point, which I've talked about in other videos. So you can harmonize like in thirds. We'll talk about other intervals in a second, but so if I harmonize in thirds, you can do this on different sets of strings. And I just started looking at like little 2-note combinations and started realizing like, okay, like so much of this stuff is in my 1 chord. So for example, I'm in the key of A. So my home base here for blues is A7, okay? So if I start looking at those different 2-note combinations, the first one would be like root and third. Okay, that's part of A7. And then this one, the third, fifth, okay, that's also part of A7. And then 5, 7. So those are all kind of like in the chord. And then you start looking at the other ones, like you fill in the space in between. So here's the first one, that's totally in the chord. Okay, the next one, that'd be like 2, 4, that's totally out of the chord. And then we go, now we're in the chord again. Now we go 4, 6, that's again totally out of the chord, but it's the same, it's in this one. If I take the 2 chord now, you know, the intervals of a 2 chord are going to be like 2, 4, 6, and 1. So I have my 2, 4, my 4, 6, and then my 6, 1. Okay, so it's kind of like the, you know, 1, 3, 3, 5, and 5, 7 are all within the 1 chord. And then, you know, 2, 4, 4, 6, 6, 1 are all within the 2 chord. It's almost like there's like just 2 chords. Now it doesn't line up completely perfectly. This is a little bit of a perspective, a way to look at things. So the kind of odd man out is the 7-2, okay? Because you have your 7th degree is technically in the 1 chord, but your 2 isn't. So that's kind of like a half in, half out kind of chord. Now, how is this useful for blues? All right, so let me explain that. So Blues is simple in the sense that you're usually on one chord or one chord for a long time. So, if I'm playing an A in blues, a blues in A. That's all the one chord. So you can do a lot kind of within that framework. And when you start looking at these different things, you start to understand there's different types of tonality. There's like within the chord, and then there's like within the scale, and then there's outside of the scale. So, a lot of jazz guys think in terms of this way, like, in the chord, and then out of the chord, but in the scale, and then completely out of the scale. So I can play riffs. Let's say, take the examples I was just talking about, like the 1 and the 3. I can just do this like open A string, and then just to give it something else. Sometimes you can combine this with a full chord, like, and just, it's all about combining stuff. But just to illustrate, I can do something very simple, like play the open A string, and then, that sounds like a blues riff. Even though the 1 and the 3 can be a little bit boring. The 3/5 sounds a little bit more interesting. And then, of course, your 5/7. So, yeah, these different tonalities all within that chord or arpeggio, you could think of it as sometimes. So I can make a blues riff just combining those 1/3, 3/5, 5/7. So you can stay within that. Now you can also, as like a different style, start adding in the other one. So 3/5, 4/6, 5/7. So think of this one, which we said is completely outside the chord. Think of this as like a step between this. So, but rather than just, play these intervals as like a boring exercise, you try to put it into some kind of a blues riff. So I just kind of showed you, just within the chord, we could, make it actually musical. It's all about the groove eventually you got to get everything together, the melody, the rhythm, and the harmony. But we're talking about the harmony here. So that's one kind of riff, and then the other kind. So again, the first kind is just within the chord, and the second kind is within the scale, but using those intermediate. All right, now you could use 6 intervals instead of thirds. Now the 6s are really cool because they're just an inversion of the third. So here I have like 3/5. I could do 5/3. You get a different sound. And then instead of the 5/7 up here, you could do 7/5. Let me see. Yeah, there we go. So again, I could play a riff within the chord. And then I could fill that in with, and it's a great contrast. It's not like you want to just only do one or the other. I think where it gets musical is by keeping it interesting, and you can kind of strategically switch between your pure chord kind of, and then switch, That wasn't the greatest riff or anything, but maybe that's a little bit better. It's always good to resolve back to the root. And you can also combine the thirds and sixes. Okay, so anyway, that's what I understand now as there's only two chords. There's really, it's like the one and the two. Now that's just, again, don't take it too literally. There's, you have your 7, 7-2, which is again like part of the 9 chord. And different ways to harmonize things, but it's a powerful framework as far as like just understanding. Okay, there's like two main types of harmony that I can play over an A7. There's like within the scale, and then just within the chord, and then using more notes within the scale. So hope that was cool, and yeah, that's about it for now. I'm working on a new free course coming up soon. I'll let you know about that. The last one, a lot of people liked. It's my Master the Fretboard course. It's a free ebook, actually. Go ahead and put, I'll put the link in the video description so you can grab that ebook, and working on some new goodies for you guys. So we'll talk soon, and have an awesome day.